During your travels through Termina, you will stumble across a multitude of different symbols, some of these belonging to in-game gods, and some are intriguing due to their Goetic origins. Goetic magic being European sorcery, including forms of witchcraft, taught through grimoire traditions, but you also have material from the ancient East. These particular sigils in Fear and Hunger 2 are Solomonic in nature. Many methods of magic are used alone, and many are used in combination. The unicursal hexagram is heavily involved with Aleister Crowley's works in Thelema, as well as the Golden Dawn system of magic. Crowley's teachings essentially left magic practitioners with the view of the symbol as a mixture of planetary and elemental forces with one another, forging cosmic equilibrium, though in Thelema this symbol is accompanied by a 5-petaled flower in the center. Giordano Bruno, a philosopher and hermetic occultist, two among many other things this author is known for, he explains this is a symbol of love. It is simple to see why when marriage of the elements and planetary forces is involved. All in all, it is easy to surmise that the act of including a unicursal hexagram in Termina is representative of planetary intelligences that Goetic spirits are believed to be. Information on what planetary intelligences are and what the spirit of a planet and the intelligence is will be explored later. Again, maybe get a drink or just roll this on the background. This will get rambly. Near the church you will find a large sigil of the unicursal hexagram with alterations. The sigil of Valifor on the wall also looks like it has been changed. My theory behind why this might be the case plays into a pre-existing theory. Insinuated is that Father Hugo Donovan of the Church of Almer altered Venushka's skin Bible, being unhappy with the original author Anki's text about them, as they keep an unedited copy. If he changed this, or somebody else did, thanks to changes made to information on one god in general, why not change other things, like magical symbols and sigils, to suit ulterior motives of the priesthood? Sigils in general can be created and spread to fulfill the original creator's magical desires. In any case, the true reason behind these changes, as of recording, are unknown. Other sigils beneath the surface of the Church of Almer involve Valifor, Crokel, and Astaroth, all without changes. Astaroth is a demon listed as the 29th spirit. He is a mighty, strong duke, and appeareth in the form of an hurtful angel riding on an infernal beast like a dragon, and carrying in his right hand a viper. Thou must in no wise let him approach too near unto thee, lest he do damage by his noisome breath, wherefore the magician must hold the magical ring near his face, and that will defend him. He giveth true answers of things past, present, and to come, and can discover all secrets. He will declare wittingly how the spirits fell, if desired, and the reason of his own fall. He can make men wonderfully knowing in all liberal sciences. He ruleth 40 legions of spirits. His seal is this, which thou wear as a layman before thee, or else he will not appear, nor yet obey thee, etc. This is according to the Lesser Keys of Solomon, translated by S.L. Mathers. This demon is thought to have origins as the pagan goddess Astarte of Babylonian belief, a goddess of love, beauty, fertility, war, and more. Crokel is listed as the 49th spirit, alternatively known as Crocel and Procel, or Prokel. He appeared in the form of an angel. He is a great duke and strong, speaking something mystically of hidden things. He teacheth the art of geometry and the liberal sciences. He, at the command of the exorcist, will produce great noises like the rushing of many waters, although there be none. He warmeth waters and discovereth baths. He was of the order of potestates or powers before his fall, as he declared unto the king Solomon. He governeth 48 legions of spirits. His seal is this, the which swear thou as aforesaid, according to the same source and Pseudo-Monarchia Daemonum by Johann Weir. Valifor is listed as the 6th spirit. He is a mighty duke, and appeareth in the shape of a lion with an ass's head, bellowing. He is a good familiar, but tempteth them he is a familiar of to steal. He governeth 10 legions of spirits. His seal is this, which is to be worn whether thou wilt have him for a familiar or not, according to yet the same source. In the Pseudo-Monarchia Daemonum, Valifor is further explained as leading his thieves to their deaths. Their name translates to familiar, one of their abilities. In other sources such as the aforementioned Pseudo-Monarchia Daemonum and Dictionnaire Infernal, these demons are explained similarly, if they are mentioned at all. So why these demons in particular? It's interesting to note that all of these demons are dukes, meaning that they are Venusian intelligences. Venus covers meeting people, affection and love, sensuality, and much more. Why use Venus-aligned demons when your church represents a solar god? If we take into consideration the teachings behind the unicursal hexagram, we can comfortably theorize that it has to do with the loving nature of Almer. After all, Almer is a being who is essentially Christianity's Jesus, someone who taught us, love thy neighbor. What better way to express that love but through words and actions powered by that same emotion? There is also the hypothesis that the priesthood simply summoned demons for their own gain, or to benefit the church and its agenda. Agrippa also states planet Venus as causing the sudden effect of anything. It's also interesting that there are 3 demons specifically. We don't know if there are more demons that the priesthood works with, but 3, symbol of the religious trinity, and the sacred number found in numerous religions and spiritual beliefs across the world, is possibly something to consider. These 3 demons also appear inside the trickster god circle near where we meet Samarie. Feminine qualities of Venus do overlap with lunar essence of the moon, and while it's another stretch, it's also fun to entertain. Otherwise, if 3 demons are to be insinuated as intermingling with Rare, the trickster god, it could be this way due to the color associated with Venus in Goetic magic, the color green. Venus is also known as the morning star, typically known to appear bright in the sky before the sun outshines it. It can therefore metaphorically describe one power overriding another, or acting as an influence in the shadow of another, for example. The minor deity Lucifer is the Roman Venus, and morning star was originally not a title but descriptor. This may play into the belief of Lucifer, or even these Venusian demons, acting as a sinister force against Almer as sun god, thanks to a mistranslation in the Bible, essentially giving extra spooky points. These demons circle different domains in terms of abilities that they can offer the summoner, yet there is some overlap all the same. The reasons for why somebody would steal? Well, if you love someone and could not afford much, someone might be inclined to steal a treasure to present as a gift to their partner. A testament to what lengths someone might go to in order to display their affection for another, and while this obviously doesn't excuse such behavior, it is a reason behind it. But there are more meanings to the demons presented in Termina. Like Valafar, to steal involves manipulation, cunning, charming people, and so on. These aspects may be applied to the Church of Almer's priesthood in Termina, to enact their will on the population by manipulating the followers of Almer and driving them away toward a different force. Besides unearthing hidden information useful to the priesthood, Croquel can cause illusions as mentioned by their other ability to create noises, which can expand into noise of the mind or confusion, causing distraction. While also another form of manipulation, it once again helps drive people toward a separate force or goal altogether. Making illusions and noise is also naturally associated with war, diverting people from their initial goal and purpose on the battlefield. Astaroth helps teach people, making them better with current skills and learning new ones. Liberal sciences includes political and social sciences, literature, music, history, and philosophy. It becomes very clear that through these powers, Astaroth can help magicians gain favor with those in power, something important in getting into high and useful positions, and on steering true Almer followers away through their teachings. If we are to also follow Astarte's areas of fertility and love, it could influence a gain in numbers through birth into specific belief systems and cause a desire for union with forces separate from the all-good Almer. These can culminate into representing elements of gods already present in Fear and Hunger lore, even if they are not strictly Venusian energies. Rare and Valafar, Croquel and Grogroth, Astaroth and Sylvian. I recognize this is a huge stretch, especially with Croquel and Grogroth, but it is a fun thought. These beings' energies being used for ulterior motives, and it is still worth stating that these links might pertain to Rare alone in some manner, including the matter of green's color when used in summoning these demons. As demons are also viewed as planetary intelligences, the daemon of a planet, what does that mean exactly? In relation to the unicursal hexagram and overlapping planetary forces, there is some hypothesis on what the spirit of a planet is and what the intelligence of a planet is, as both exist. Personal viewpoint is that a spirit of a planet is the gear or the cog, meanwhile the intelligence is the main operator who can cause the gears to move and rotate. Classical author Agrippa, writer of the 3 books of occult philosophy, mentions intelligences and spirits associated with the 7 planets. Classically, 7 planets were known before modern discoveries taught us that there are more. Demons are said to each have their own legions of spirits which operate under them. These can be considered the planetary spirits. Every intelligence and every spirit has their own place in the universe and who can help the summoner or magician. These magicians or summoners being the priesthood of Ulmer. The only thing that plants a hole here is that there are maybe 5 old gods, some gods we aren't sure about. You could align these with the elements, inclusive of ether or spirit, though it doesn't count for the remaining gods. You might argue these are the god of fear and hunger alongside Ulmer, or the sulphur god, Ulmer's shadow self, all the parts of Ulmer despised and locked into its own entity, but these 2, technically 3, are ascended gods. Only factoring the old gods and 3 ascended gods seems quite dismissive. Also, I'm not sure how Goetic demons which follow this classical 7 planetary intelligences fit with the 13 gods of fear and hunger to Termina just yet, or if they can yet at all. The clock plate that's essentially Prague's astronomical clock, involving all gods, can be viewed as zodiacal in nature, and lists 10 in total rather than the 12 for the zodiac, but +1 for fear and hunger specifically. There could be even more, of course. This also doesn't include Ammon, Sarko, or Turkil, the hidden gods, or any others. The 7 classic planets do not include Earth, which would make 8 total, and ultimately this is getting oddly complicated and far beyond the subject, so I'll just move on. One more symbol I wanted to mention is the broken heptagram found in the Church of Ulmer's basement, and other places too, labelled as the asymmetrical circle. This is viewed as symbolic of the 7 planets or 7 planetary intelligences or gods associated with these planets. It might not mean anything, but the potential is there. If one portion has been erased, it can be insinuated the erasure of a planet or god. This may be symbolic of erasing the pure and hopeful side of Ulmer. It separately has a meaning of the 7 days of creation. If one day has been removed, creation is not finished, aka the great work is not yet done and God is unable to rest, logically meaning the sulphur god. The heptagram is linked to the Aleister Crowley magical organization AA, representing Babylon, which you might find is the tower in the middle of Prahevel. Or it might have something to do with the fact that Rare's sigil is also broken. Lastly, at least in what I hope to mention, is the alchemical representation of each point in the heptagram. Both planets and elements. One is removed, possibly sulphur, as the sulphur god is yet to fully come back. At least one section is dedicated to the divinity named Seldna in some content, and there isn't a lot left when trying to search into who defines or is associated with what section of the asymmetrical circle, or if there's any meaning at all here considering that the idea was scrapped from the final cut of the series entries. The Star of Solomon found within the symbol in Termina can refer to the Goetic magic element and ceremonial magic that is associated classically with summoning demons of the Keys of Solomon. It makes sense here with the symbol, but inclusion of the Goetic demon seems incompatible with Fear and Hunger lore in the whole, except in the case of individual belief systems, maybe even within the priesthood. Multiple of the series gods can be associated with a singular planet, which is also entirely possible. For now, it feels like a bit of a mystery when looking beyond the old gods, especially when an in-game reference to another game exists for at least one god. There's also some misinformation out there as well, so that also complicates research material. I'm trying not to rely too much on the wiki, as there seems to be conflict with information provided there in terms of game mechanics, and so I'm not sure what else there has its problems. As a side note, I just wanted to mention potential correlation between the Yellow King and a Goetic demon, King Paimon. The Sylvian or Venusian abilities with healing whispers, the musical notes that appear during the fight. King Paimon is associated with music, planet Venus, Jupiter, and the Sun, and Mercury, because as the unicursal hexagram spoken of, there's an intermingling of cosmic energies, and different grimoires list King Paimon as either solar, Venusian, Jupiterian, and much more. Thanks for watching or listening this far into the video if you have. If you enjoyed, leaving a like and or subscribing is appreciated, but it isn't necessary. Again, thanks for watching, and maybe leave your thoughts if you want. But yeah, until next time, have a good one.